Hey everybody, and welcome to this video where I'm going to explain just about everything that we did to pull off this virtual concert in this year of COVID. So the public domain medley will be released on the 22nd at 6:30, and it'll be on Facebook and YouTube Live. But if you would like to know how we pulled this off, stick around for this video. It's going to be a long one, but not as long as the amount of work that went into this on the faculty side and the student side. And first and foremost, we are extremely proud of all the students, all the work that they've put into this. It really showcases their talents and their adaptability into this new virtual realm rather than performing in the auditorium for all of you at the normal year. So let's look at this. So before we even recorded this, we had to get an idea as to what we were going to do. Around the first week of school, we knew we had to do a virtual concert to make ourselves and the community proud of our students this year and how they overcame how to perform during COVID times. So we knew we wanted to do a virtual concert. That being said, we started looking into some music to do. So I chose a Mariah Carey song that's popular around this time of year. Mr. Graves chose a song by Paul McCartney that is popular around this time of year. And I'm not going to even say the song titles just in case they come after us. And Mrs. Jackaruso also chose a song that was out of what's called the public domain medley. Not the medley, we're doing the medley, public domain. So public domain is basically songs or artworks or basically things that were published before the year 1924. And it changes every year. So in 2021, it'll be 1925 previously. Meaning that these songs are free to use for the public without having to reach out to the songwriter, the publisher, the arranger, or whatever have you. Because we originally tried to reach out to these people, and I got a letter back from Sony, but it was going to be X amount of money for an X amount of time online, then you have to take it off. And we didn't even hear back from the other publishing companies for the other songs. So we just said, you know what, let's arrange our own medley. So we came up with the public domain medley. It is consisted of Jingle Bells, Deck the Halls, and the 12 Days of Christmas. These are all songs that can be found in the public domain entry, basically. And we took those and we arranged for about a week or so. Mr. Graves and I arranged a medley for all the students. So it's going to be 7 through 12 combined. It's all of the band students and all of the chorus students together on one track. That being said, it is around an 8-minute video that's going to be posted rather than like a full, hour concert or whatever it might be, just because of the amount of time that went into this. So things to keep in mind, we only saw our students once every 4 days. So it's not a lot of time to work on this. So, I would have my 8th graders on this day, my 9th graders on this day, but it was every other 4 days. And my remote students, having to learn it remotely. So, it was a challenge. And so we didn't have a lot of time to do this, to learn it, and then to go about this whole process of recording and editing it. So what we had to do was arrange it first. We finished arranging it. And then we gave it out to our students and went right to work on it and learning all of it. I think overall we had about 3 to 4 weeks to even practice this, less for some students, to really get this under our fingers and our voices before we recorded this. So what you see here is Logic Pro, and this is on our Mac. We originally recorded this on my laptop, but we now have the school Mac, which made editing a lot easier. So in Logic Pro, these are all audio tracks. It doesn't look like a lot, but if you see down here, there are 206 tracks on this thing. How is that even possible? So this, if we open up percussion, this is a folder full of percussionists. These are all the percussion audio that all are combined. So how we did this, we did it during class and we did it during lessons. So for example, my choruses, after practicing for a few weeks, we recorded as a group. Fortunately, we have an M-Track 8 from M Audio, which means we can record up to 8 tracks at one time. Due to the safety of COVID, I only pushed about 4 or 5 or 6 students at once, all spaced out 6 feet apart. We had the equipment, we had the microphones and cables already. So then we plugged it right into the the interface here, which went right into the Mac. So what happened was all the students had headphones on, and they were listening to a track that the faculty, meaning Mrs. Jacaruso, Mr. Graves, and I already created for the students to listen to. So we went through the entire medley, and we sang it, and we played it. And I cannot continue on with this video until I thank Kate Jamowski for recording the vocals as well. She came in as soon as we were done arranging it so that for the remote students and for the hybrid students, so they could listen to what the medley was supposed to sound like vocally, just because I wanted them to hear what it actually sounded like and not me trying to do falsetto with the super high notes. So really, thank you to Kate. She really helped make this come together for our students. So going back, we recorded each student individually for band and in groups for chorus. So they would come in, put their headphones on, listen to it, play it into the microphone while we are recording them on Logic Pro. So we did this over the course of about 3 weeks just to get every single student in here. Even our remote students were able to send in submissions from home, and what they had to do was listen to the track with headphones, record themselves with another device like a phone, laptop, tablet, and then send it to us. I would take their audio, put the audio in here, mix it, and take their video and put the video in the video. That's a lot of video words. So the way we went about editing this is after we recorded the students, it came down to mixing. Meaning that, if the snare didn't come through, we'd have to put something called a compressor on it, maybe some reverb because this room is pretty dry, and we wanted to make it sound as best as we could. So all of these folders here, this is the trumpet folder, this is the low brass folder, this is the flute folder. So they're all mixed, they're all panned in different ways to make it sound fuller. These are all the choruses right here. All these purple folders are all chorus. This is the demo vocals between myself and Kate. This is my junior high A-Day group, my B-Day group, my C-Day group, my D-Day group, my freshmen, my sophomores, my juniors, and my remote singers, which also happen to be my seniors as well. And then the faculty solos have their own folder over somewhere. There we go. We just gotta, there we go. Just to see the full scope of this. The faculty solos are this little pink folder right here. But this is the entire medley all here. So if you hit the play button, you'll be able to hear the medley and how it sounds. Now, of course, the audio, we wouldn't be able to just release the audio and be happy with that. We wanted to do video as well. So while we recorded the groups with audio, we also recorded with just an iPhone 7 Plus recording the students. We didn't have access to a camera. I used to have a camera, but it's dead. And so we used an iPhone, but for the purpose of this, it worked perfectly. So let's say a student was over here recording, right? We'd be over here mixing, and we would have our phone set up on a stand recording them. These would be, however long it took, 10 minutes of a video. And then we would trim it down literally just for seconds in the final product because we have to showcase nearly 100 students, over 20 faculty members. So, you only see yourself for a split second in it, but just to know that there's that many people involved in this project is awesome. So this is, there's a few errors on here, like this marker. I don't know how I got there. Anyways, but this is the project. This is all of the audio. If I were to drop down all these folders, you would see the amount of audio that's in here. And it's great. We had some keyboardists come in to do some bass and fill out the sound. So it's a nice full sound. It's mixed. It's all done on a much more professional level. And we are very grateful that we were able to obtain this Mac and Logic Pro and Final Cut. So thank you to our Board of Education and our administration for allowing us to do this. And it's going to be some really cool stuff in the future. This is just the first project. This is the very beginning of it. So after all of the audio was done, all right, now we go into Final Cut. Final Cut is how we edited the video. And if you notice, this is the entire project here when it comes to the medley. And I'll show you what I mean by that afterwards, because there's more to it than just this. So these are all videos of students playing. So we started out with that timpani roll. And then we already get into 4 students at once because we wanted to see everybody. And rather doing a split second, we wanted to combine some of the groups. So here we see some of our flute players in the junior and senior high. You get some of our low brass, some of our tenor sax, our trumpets. It all lines up with everything. So if you play this through. Now, these videos didn't just magically appear in this size. What we had to do was find the right videos that we wanted. We dragged it on top. So for example, if I'm going to edit Michaela for a second, I'm going to click on Michaela's track, and over here on the side is where I would adjust where her clip goes. And then I would also crop it if need be, just to fit the screen right. So we had to, aesthetically, where do we want the performers on the screen? What squares look the best? Is it even? So after finding all the clips, we had to align the clips with the audio, and then present it. And it's only just a few seconds, but again, we want to showcase every student that's in this. So there's a lot of videos and stuff that go into this. And then on top of that, we had the soloists, and the soloists recorded separately for the 12 days of COVID. And not to spoil too much, for example, we went remote quickly. So Jake here recorded at home. Unfortunately, he had a professional microphone at home with, of course, his dog Jeter, and he was able to sing 2 sterile gloves. So on top of the video, we added text over it so you understood the new words to go along with the 12 days of COVID, as well as just to give a better visual as well. We found this nice image here of what looks like a Christmas background, but then it wound up being this is the bacteria, the COVID background, and it worked out great. So these are all videos of students put together, aligned, and then the last thing before the credits roll, these are all text files over here, is the grid. The final grid where we wanted everybody to be shown all at once. This took hours because it doesn't seem like a lot, but like I said, there are over 100 clips here all at once. It doesn't look like it when it's small, but when you put them all together, you see that this is about 14 across and I think 9 high. So you can do the math of how many are there. So what we had to do, again, line it up with the audio and then shrink their clip down, align it. I made a template of a grid where it was just even grids, and then I was able to put the video over the grid, shrink it down, and then size it to the square so that it was even with everybody. So these are all of our students in sections as well. So if you look, here's some of our singers on the sides here, our trumpet section over here, our flute section up here, our low brass down here. It's all aligned the way that it should be, as if it were in a concert. And then you can see our remote singers, our remotes, here's Shelby playing the drums live from home. And that's the video and the audio all put together. And then, of course, the credits that have to roll out. So a lot, obviously, as you can see, went into this on the student side, the faculty side. And we are so grateful for the opportunity that we had to do this. Again, we want to thank our administration, our Board of Education, for really allowing us to go to this virtual realm. This would not have been possible without them. And supporting us and supporting the music. So support your music, and please go ahead and watch the virtual concert. It premieres December 22nd at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be premiered live, and of course it will stay up for your viewing pleasure afterwards forever. It'll always be up. It's the public domain. It's free, and it's a product of the Broad Alban Perth Music Department.